Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and I've got a card to share with you today. It's actually part of a release from ALT, and it's the Winter Wonderland set of watercolor brush markers. So 10 more ALT colours being released today. Oh, although one of them is metallic. It's a silver. How cool is that? Anyway, I was just going to show you how to activate one of these pens if you haven't seen it before, just quickly. Now, just need to unscrew the barrel from the top of the pen, remove and throw away the little yellow piece, and then screw the barrel back on as far as it'll go. And then there's a couple of little words on the side of the actual barrel, and it says press here. So to activate the colour into the well, you just press gently on the sides until you start to see the colour come down through the brush. And you only need to do this once. Once it's activated, it'll stay ready to use. Okay, so I've already stamped out some images today on some Bristol smooth cardstock, and they're from the Engagement Wishes set. I have pre-stamped them because I used the ALT Jet Black ink. I'm lying. I've used the ALT Permanent Black ink. And you do need to let this sort of set or sit for about 20 minutes before you start using watercolors with it, and that just prevents any chance of the ink bleeding. Alright, so the way that I'm adding these watercolors here today is direct to paper pretty much, except for the leaves, but I'll go through that with you in a moment. And I'm actually blending the colors. That's one of the beautiful things about watercolor brush markers is you don't need to worry about paintbrushes and wells and cleaning. They actually release the color as you're painting with them. And the brushes, I haven't had any problems with them contaminating. I just wipe them off to the side because I'm actually using these brushes. I'm using the brushes to blend out the colour themselves. So if I felt like I got any of the rouge onto the citrus burst, then I can just wipe it off on the paper towel on the side. But I really didn't have an issue with it at all. I'm using to get this sort of shading, I am using the rouge colour sort of at the base of the petal and then drawing it out with the yellow and blending as I go. I am doing a petal at a time because these colours, they're not overly wet, so you do find that they will dry fairly quickly, and I didn't want the chance of them not blending. So by colouring one petal at a time, it does define each petal. I didn't have any troubles with the colour bleeding into the next petal, even though I was actually painting some beside each other. And I didn't leave any sort of white space or white highlight, which I often do when I'm watercolouring. This is more of a, it's not that real messy watercolour look, it's more of a defined. And I did actually paint around the stamens of the flowers as well, although I probably didn't need to. I just think I wasn't really sure how the cardstock would hold up if I added too much water over time, so it was just easier to paint them separately at the end. I'll only go through colouring one of the flowers with you here today because it did take quite a while to colour them, and that's why I've had to speed it up as well. The leaves I did do differently. So I only wanted to use the colours in this set. I could have pulled the colours out of the other ALT set, but I really wanted to make these colours work for me. So if you did have these colours only, then you could actually achieve this look yourself. So to get a lighter colour in the centre of the leaf, what I've done is actually painted the yellow colour and then painted the emerald green surrounding it. And then I did come in with my water brush from ALT to actually blend the two colours together. And that just gave me the lighter colour of green that I wanted in the centre of the leaf. And if you didn't have a water brush, you could easily do this technique with just a normal paintbrush and some water. I did actually stamp and colour 3 leaves today just to give me that odd number that I could use, and I like that these 2 leaves face, the 2 leaves that come in the set face the opposite way, so it really helps to put a little bouquet together as well. I have painted the second flower in the red, so I did actually come in and do a different colour, and when I was actually painting that, it just made my yellow flower look a bit sallow. So to add some depth, I've come in with the ruby red, and it's working really well to give me that depth. I think it really transformed this flower. Because I'd allowed time for it to dry, it didn't actually really blend in with the previous colours that I'd added to the flower, so it really made those, like the base of the petals, really pop. And another great thing about the brush markers is because they have such a fine tip on them, you can actually come in after and add some details using the marker itself. So I'm using the coordinating dies here to die cut all my leaves and flowers, and I did make sure when I stamped them just to place them far enough apart that I could run them all through my die cutting machine in one pass, and that just helps save time. Now I'm just going to put my card together. I've got a side fold landscape card, and I'm adding some of the Essentials black and white cardstock or paper from the paper pack from ALT as a background, and then I can just make my little flower arrangement. And I do like to use the tape runner because I can move things around until I'm happy with the placement, but once I sort of adhere it down and it dries, it actually attaches very securely. This is part of a blog hop today, so of course there are some prizes, and if you head through the link below and you're here in January 2019, you have a chance to win. And also at my blog I'll link all of the other people in the hop, and there's so much inspiration and also so many more chances to win too. So here's how I sort of fixed my... I wasn't really happy with the stamens after I painted them in, so what I did was come in with the Nouveau drops, and they've got a little bit of sparkle in them and they're a little bit see-through, and I added them to both of the flowers, and I think that worked really well. But I had to wait for it to dry before I could add my sentiment, which is from the Ruffled Flowers set. So that's my finished card. Don't forget to head to my blog. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to see you again here real soon. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.